especially the youth, if they are well involved in activities of the country, they will immediately learn, and one time they can take over.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, this is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. The Chief of Defense Forces, General Paul Nang, has ordered a ban on carrying machetes in Juba, warning that anyone found with one without a valid reason will be arrested and prosecuted. Farmers in Manyo County, Upper Nile State, have raised the alarm over large swarms of quail layer birds destroying their sorghum farms, a situation worsened by ongoing severe flooding in the area. And some members of the public have commended the Joint Security Forces for recovering more than 200 firearms during a recent search operation in Juba. These stories and more coming to you in the news bulletin with me, Walma Pal. Now the news in detail. The Chief of Defense Forces, General Paul Nang, has ordered a ban on carrying machetes in Juba, warning that anyone found with one without a valid reason will be arrested and prosecuted. The military chief made the announcement during a weapons exhibition yesterday, where more than 200 firearms collected during a recent firearms search in Juba were displayed. General Nang directed security forces to arrest and imprison anyone found carrying machetes or other weapons without a valid reason. He also ordered raids on any locations suspected of storing illegal firearms.
وشايل ساطوره بعد يتعامل معه كزول مجرم ام سبوك نفسي ونحن بنتصرف معه وكان زول داير يقتل الناس بنوري ما الناس بقتل فوق الناس لكن القتل ما في المدينه هنا. اخيرا داير نقول للضباط وضباط الصف والجنود القاموا بمهمه دي العمليه دي ما هيجيب بعد اي محل تتهموه ما يكون فيه متهم وفيه سلاح القوه يمشي يعمل قدرون للمحل ده يفتشوه يمسكوا زول الموجود فيه لانه موظف بتاع سلاح يكون فيه لنا ما دايرينه كلكم. حتى هنا ده نديكم كلمه شكر الاخير ونقول لكم انتم واصلوا بشكركم. اللجنه اللي كان موجود في الكلام ده يواصل بشكر بتاعته كلجنه وان شاء الله نلاقوا المره الجايه.
He said the directive is part of ongoing efforts to ensure public safety and reduce the threat posed by illegal weapons in Juba. Farmers in Manyo County, Upper Nile State, have raised the alarm over large swarms of quail birds destroying their sorghum farms, a situation worsened by ongoing severe flooding in the area. They say the twin disasters threaten food security as the birds are eating up sorghum grains, a key source of food and income for local families. The farmers say the quail birds, known for their large flocks and rapid reproduction, have invaded farms in recent weeks and are consuming crops at an alarming rate. The situation has been made worse by heavy flooding, which has left fields waterlogged and some areas completely submerged, making it difficult for farmers to harvest what remains of their crops. They warn that the combination of pest attacks and floods could leave many families struggling to feed themselves in the coming months. Andrew Musa Otho, a farmer from Kaka in Monya County, described the situation in a video shared on social media.
الكارثة بتاع الموية ما شاء الله دي ركبة ده حاجة موصف شديد وده حاجة الخلة طير يجي ذاته لأن الموية ما بتقيف هسي السيل ده جاري لحد هسي وما معروف جاي من وين ذاته. حاجة أنا ديره من الناس المسؤولين في المحافظ ومستوى بتاع المقاطعة ومستوى بتاع الولاية ثم المستوى القومي إنه يجي ينقصوا المواطنين من الآفة بتاع الطير لأن الطير ما زال توافد من أماكن بعيدة ومحله لحد هسه ما معروف جاي من وين. المهم الطير متحرك من جميع الاتجاهات وزي ما أنا ذكرت قبل إنه المواطن البسيط محتاج لمساعدة من الحكومة عشان على الأقل يساعد بنفسه. دايرين الموضوع بتاع الرش إن يجينا طيارة يجي يرش الطير ده عشان ينقصوا الحاجة الفضل من الطير.
Another farmer, Johanna, also shared his frustration.
قبل كده زرع وما شاف أكل الطير ده لو شاف الطير ده بينصدم لكن خايته الصبر كل شيء عند الله. المثل بيقول قال جاتك في مالك سامحتك خايته ندعو لله بأنه يا رب ارفع مننا الطير ده ونلقى خايته ونلقى حاجه بسيط حتى لو لقينا حاجه لعيال خايته. هسه الزراعه ده ما جزء نوديه جزء للبيوت، لو لقينا البسيط للبيوت بيكون افضل. ده رسالتي لكم يا الناس اللي سامعين بانوا في مويه في المزارع. ده المويه موجود قدامكم، انظروا للمويه.
The farmers are appealing to local and national authorities to take urgent action, including controlling the bird invasion and supporting flood-affected farms to protect the remaining crops. This is our Radio Afternoon News. Some members of the public have commended the joint security forces for recovering more than 200 firearms during recent search operation in Juba. Speaking on our radio's Sundown show yesterday, callers praised the forces for their performance and called for the disarmament campaign to be extended to other areas, including Kota camps. However, others said it would be unfair to disarm certain communities while others remain armed.
نعم تجري بدنا تكون كويس لكن وصف الناس الزين بالبلاد نزل أمن بتوع ما سمعته. Let the government come integrate all rebels to be one army. After that, they will come up with the strategy to take them from the civilians. So that is what they're supposed to do, and they will not start disarming communities. Yet other communities are not disarmed. الكلام عامل ده تبي واصل لقدام لكن في مالات الناس بقوا منه مالات هذه يعني لازم لازم تشتري أنا في مالات ما مسدون أصلا بتاعه بدمر مال كله مال لازم أكون يكون target on that location. The government knows where this target places are. The government of Uganda created anybody who has a gun, let him bring to register so that you'll be given a document for yourself, so that if you assault someone, they know that these are so and so guns that are used for killing. People start bringing guns. You brought yours today, you'll be given money, your gun remains there. After that, they start adding. If you brought 2, you'll be given 2 million. If you brought 3, you'll be given 3 million. People start bringing guns. Even those ones in the village, they start bringing guns for shame.
Meanwhile, Police Inspector General Abraham Manuat Peter has praised the Joint Operation Forces for their professionalism during the recent siege mission. He said the number of complaints from the public during the operation was much lower compared to past exercises.
أنا بشكر الرئاسات لأنه الشكاوي الدور ده بكون 2-3 يعني أحسن تفتيش ما جاني بلاغات كتير فوقه لأنه في كل تفتيش زمان بيجينا بلاغات على ناس أو بتاع العائلة لكن التفتيش دور ده يعني جاء نظيف ولو في بلاغات بيكون لا يذكر فأنا بشكر كلكم ونشكر القيادات القادوا التفتيش ده من هنا ما هيقف هيستمر حتى لو في سكتس أن هنا هنقوم بالتفتيش أي محل عندنا معلومة حتى لو زول واحد أنه هو دس سلاح أننا هنفتشه.
The Joint Security Forces recently displayed more than 200 firearms recovered during a series of siege operations in Juba. Now, two Jonglei state authorities have launched a mobile court in Bor town to fast-track the handling of hundreds of pending legal cases and reduce the backlog facing the state's justice system. Speaking during the launch, Governor Ria Guy Cook said the initiative will enforce the rule of law and help maintain peace in the state.
We are going to enjoy real peace. When I came here, I prioritized security as the means of achieving peace. And if we have peace, we'll have development. We'll deliver services to our people, being health, education, clean drinking water, construction of roads. It was all of you who requested extension of this mobile courts to other areas. But of course, rule of law is a complex thing. Judges alone cannot ensure rule of law or justice. Because in some counties I've been to, there are no prisons.
Lieutenant Akej Mopio Dao, Jonglei State Police spokesperson, said the deployment of the mobile court is a response to a staggering number of unresolved cases.
So today the mobile court is going to start work in the prison for those cases which are people remanded and people who are in the prison, the cases are not settled. We are going to work on them. And a lot of cases, like in Jonglei, now we have about more than 2,000 cases ongoing cases under trial and cannot be accomplished. So the present and the activities of the mobile court are going to help justice and know the rule of law in Jonglei State. Mobile court is going to focus on the Sunday work, the community and cases of vulnerable groups such as women and children in conflict with the law and other vulnerable people. So they're going to start the work there, and then the majority of the cases now are identified as known that.
Lieutenant Dow said the mobile court will initially prioritize vulnerable groups, including women and children in conflict with the law, as well as other individuals in prison whose cases remain unresolved. He added that the court will improve the overall presence and effectiveness of the rule of law in the region.
During the war and all this, so they are going to work on that. Again, there are cases that are repaired in the county because of incompetence of the court to generate it. But also the victim remain outside in the county and the affected are in the country. Meanwhile, the case is staying. We are going to call all the complainants of the victims so that they return themselves and the case are going to be filed during the period of the mobile court. Generally, people are very happy because there are a lot of cases that are going to be handled by mobile court in very short time. And they 1 month, they are going to cover the number of cases. And I think everybody is happy. And all the people in prison in these cases are not, we spent about 3 years now, or 3 years in prison without cases being settled. I think they are going to be settled by mobile court this period.
The mobile court is expected to start its work immediately, focusing on resolving long-standing cases and strengthening justice delivery in Jonglei State. The IGAD Climate Prediction and Application Center, ICPAC, has forecast a rise in temperatures across South Sudan and much of Eastern Africa region in November. In its latest season update for the period between November 2025 and January 2026 released yesterday, ICPAC said there are high chances of drier than usual conditions over most parts of the equatorial and southern sectors of the region. However, wetter than usual conditions are expected in the western parts of the region during November. The Climate Center also said temperatures are expected to be warmer than usual over most areas. For the rainfall outlook, ICPAC forecast wetter than normal conditions in November over coastal areas of Sudan, Eritrea and Djibouti, as well as southern South Sudan, southern Ethiopia, western Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, and northwestern Tanzania. Meanwhile, drier than usual conditions are expected over Kenya, southern Somalia, central to southern Uganda, most parts of Tanzania, eastern Rwanda, and southern Burundi. The report further indicates cooler than normal conditions over coastal and western parts of Sudan, Eritrea, northern to central Ethiopia, northwestern and northeastern Somalia, parts of central Kenya, and across the border areas of Uganda, Kenya, and South Sudan, Ethiopia. ICPAC is a climate center accredited by the World Meteorological Organization. It provides climate services to 11 East African countries with the aim of building resilience in a region heavily affected by climate change and extreme weather. This is our radio news. The Director of Social Welfare in Central Equatorial State has raised concern over excessive taxation and lack of business space as major challenges facing women vendors in Juba markets. Omar Sharif Eldin, the Director of Social Welfare and the Minister of Gender, Child and Social Welfare, said many women working in markets and operating roadside kiosks are family breadwinners who deserve fair working conditions to support their households. Speaking yesterday during the launch of the Women's Lively Training Program by the Whitaker Peace and Development Initiative, Eldin urged authorities to support women traders to help them sustain their livelihoods.
أنا بكلم بأخو بتاعي وزير التجارة نسوان تبانين كلتا جني ما ميا كلام الجي تردو نسوان في مال سوق ده ولا أنا ما دايرو لأنه شغال بكرة بيجي فلوس الجي كتو كتير وشور الجي كتو كتير لنسوان ده كالي خفيفو لأنه إيال كتير بيجا مغاغر فإنت عندك دور تبيجي ما ميا كان أسام بريتوما ده جيزيدو كروز ده كل يوم زيادة كالي نكسو يا جماعة نسوان ده تبانين وتبانين القاموا الشاي القاموا الخدام أنا كزول تسوشيال ورفير لأنه معاناة أنا جيلي ويانا هذا بيقى كتير في الشارع ده حاجة لنا داير ذكره ليتا.
Eldin said small-scale female entrepreneurs play a vital role in Juba's informal economy by providing essential goods and services that sustain thousands of households. He warned that continued harassment and high taxation could force many women out of business, worsening poverty and unemployment in the city. The official also highlighted challenges faced by persons with disabilities, saying some shops in Juba are built without proper accessibility features.
أنا برجع برجو لوزير تجارة وزميل بتاعي شابلن تكاكين يومين ده بينو بيجا فوق الزول المعوق ما بقدر يروح في الدكان عشان بيشتري حاجة وده حق بتاعه فدي كمان كنا كتو كلام ده انتوا بيجيني برضو ناس أشكال كله تكاكين ده كان جا بينو كله ناس أنظر في المحل ده كله لأنه يكون إنكلوسيف الناس المعوقين ده عندهم حق لازم يدخل في الدكان حتى في دكاكين في جمهورك انت ذاته النسيه دي طبعا بقدر تاكلوا فوق فلازم يكسروا لازم يسالوا ده اخر كلام بتاعي لكم والسلام عليكم شكرا.
Eldin called on business owners, local authorities and city planners to adopt inclusive and gender-sensitive policies that promote fairness and equal opportunity across Juba's markets and commercial areas. This is our video afternoon news, and now to the regional international stories. Here is Madrama James.
Thanks. Let's have a look at some of the stories making headlines in the region and beyond. A migrant sex offender who was mistakenly released from prison has been deported from the UK with no rights to return. Hadus Kebetu was jailed after sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl and a woman in Iping while living in an asylum hotel, but was mistakenly set free by prison staff on Friday. He was brought back into custody following a 2-day manhunt. Hadas was put on a flight to Ethiopia on Tuesday night and landed the following morning, the Home Office said. Elsewhere, Nigerian writer Wole Solanka said the U.S. revoked his visa and banned him from the country. The 91-year-old author who won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1986 said the U.S. consulate asked him to bring in his passport so his visa could be cancelled in person as unspecified information had come to light. Solanka called the invitation a rather curious love letter from an embassy in a news conference held on Tuesday and told organization hoping to invite him to the US not to waste their time. And finally, at least 104 Palestinians were killed in a wave of Israeli strike in Gaza on Tuesday night, the Hamas-run health ministry says. The Israeli military said it struck dozens of terror targets and terrorists in response to violation by Hamas of the US brokered ceasefire deal. Israel's defense minister accused Hamas of an attack in Gaza that killed an Israeli soldier and of breaching the terms on returning deceased hostages' bodies. Hamas said it had no connection to the attack and was committed to the deal. These are some of the stories making headlines in the region and beyond. Back to you, my colleague.
Thank you so much, Madrama James, for the regional international updates. Up next is sports with Darlington Moses.
Thank you so much, Waltma Paul. In the world of sport, we start with local sport news. South Sudan's national blind football team has qualified for the African Blind Football Championships, a key qualifier for the 2028 Los Angeles Paralympic Games, after securing a 3-0 victory over Uganda in the final match of Group B. The team had an impressive run, defeating Uganda 3-0 in their opening match and later overcoming Zimbabwe 2-0. With this victory, South Sudan earned promotion to next year's Blind Football African Championship Division 1, where the continent's top teams will compete for a spot at the Paralympics in Los Angeles. In international football, with specifications on Carabao Cup, Fulham survived a scare against League One side Wycombe, winning 5-4 on penalties after a 1-1 draw in regular time. Defender Issa Diop scored the decisive penalty to send Fulham into a quarter-finals. Meanwhile, Brentford cruised into the last 8 of the tournament after thrashing Grimsby Town 5-0, ending the League Two side's fairy tale run. Cardiff City also progressed after a 1-0 win over fellow Wales side Wrexham thanks to an early goal from Yusuf Saleh. Today's Carabao Cups are as follows. Fixtures rather. Arsenal versus Brighton and Liverpool will face Crystal Palace. Swansea City versus Manchester City, while Wolves versus Chelsea, and Newcastle United versus Tottenham. And finally, in Italy, a man has died after his electric wheelchair collided with a car driven by Inter Milan goalkeeper Joseph Martinez in the province of Como. Police say the wheelchair appeared to have veered into the vehicle's path and investigations are underway. That's your sport update, and I am Darlington Moses.
Thank you so much, Darlington Moses. And here brings us to the end of our stories this afternoon. But first, here's a quick recap of our headlines once again. The Chief of Defense Forces, General Paul Nang, has ordered a ban on carrying machetes in Juba, warning that anyone found with one without a valid reason will be arrested and prosecuted. Farmers in Manyo County, Apanali State, have raised their alarm over large swarms of quelea birds destroying their sorghum farms, a situation worsened by ongoing severe flooding in the area. And some members of the public have commended the joint security forces for recovering more than 200 firearms during a recent search operation in Juba. That is the end of our reader news. If there is a story or an event you would like our reader to cover or report about, please don't hesitate to send us a text message on +211 925 287 It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page, iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.rradio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at half past the hour. I am Walma Pal. Thanks for listening.